Even though LEGO is known for its impressive quality control, nobody is perfect, and sometimes mistakes slip through the cracks. Today, let's explore more LEGO sets that break the rules with mistakes in their instructions, packaging, and minifigures. One of the more serious errors that I came across was posted by Fast5 over on Reddit. While putting together this LEGO Star Wars set, they eventually came to Bag 4 and dumped out the pieces. The first thing you get to do here is assemble this brand new version of Han Solo. Well, there's something a little off about the version that this builder got. As you can see, this Han minifigure has a single white leg and a single brown leg, although both of them are supposed to be brown. This is a pretty wild manufacturing mix-up, and the kind that's pretty hard to fix on your own unless you have a different minifigure with plain brown legs floating around and you choose to perform some quick leg amputation surgery. Honestly, I wouldn't be too upset about getting a rare mistake like this, even if it's not necessarily a valuable error. But this is exactly what LEGO customer support is for. Hopefully they sent this builder a replacement piece. However, this is hardly the only minifigure mistake out there. A viewer named Mustafa sent in these images of their copy of the 2015 Snowplow truck set. If you look at the promotional images for this set, you'll notice that the truck driver is sporting one of the older minifigure ball caps with a long, flat bill. These pieces were officially retired in 2016, less than a year after this set was released, which might explain this little mix-up. When you dump out this set and open the instructions, you'll find one of these caps with a shorter, more rounded bill, which is the newer design. I guess that the product images here were just taken using the older part, and then LEGO decided to update this piece sometime between creating images and production of this set. But you see, it's not just LEGO pieces that can have an error, as pointed out by a fan named Diogo, who spotted something off in their Kai Fighter build from 2014. On the box, as well as in several official images, you'll notice that the villainous General Cryptor is holding a rather large, shoulder-mounted gun that looks kind of like an old bazooka. Well, early on in the build, you'll put this minifigure together and something is very clearly off. The instructions very clearly tell you to build the weapon the other way around, making it look far too large for even the mighty general to wield. I remember wondering this exact thing whenever I built this set in 2014. It's a great set, by the way. But which way do you prefer? Let me know in the comments. Now, in very rare cases, the entire box can be a little bit off, as is the case with this submission from a viewer named BT. Over the years, I've seen a lot of LEGO boxes, and I've never seen one with this extreme of an error. The entire box was misprinted, resulting in every side being off-center and wrapping around the other side. It's genuinely surprising that LEGO let this one slip through its quality control stage, but it's a stroke of good luck for this builder. Misprinted boxes, especially unopened boxes in good condition, can fetch a decent price to the right collector. As extreme as that mistake is, the next entry from Reddit user SneakyStrategist221 is even wilder. This might be the most misprinted piece of LEGO merchandise that I've ever seen. It seems like this page somehow has a copy of the box art printed underneath the instructions. While this page's appearance is incredibly noisy and chaotic, the instructions themselves are still accurate, and this is the proper step to be followed here. What's especially crazy is that this wasn't just a one-off printing mistake. It seems like every copy of this set was shipped with these instructions. As of now, even the digital PDF instructions on LEGO's website show this same mistake, so it must have been a weird graphical mistake. Unfortunately for this builder, misprinted instructions aren't worth anything special, particularly when the mistake is this widespread. But even when everything is printed properly, accidents can still happen. This submission from Reddit user massively_invisible would be enough to give me a minor panic attack if I came across it. It seems that whenever they emptied out the contents of their copy of the Imperial Dropship vs. Rebel Scout Speeder set, they were greeted with a whopping 5 sticker sheets. For a set with only 383 pieces, that's more than a little excessive. Well, upon closer inspection, it turns out that this set was only supposed to include 1 sheet, and 4 of these were simply unnecessary duplicates. Whew, thank goodness, I definitely don't want to apply 5 sheets of stickers. Of course, the most common type of error in a LEGO set is some kind of misprinted instructions, and this next submission from Connor is an absolute goldmine. 2012's Forest Police Station is a fun enough little build with 633 parts and 5 minifigures, but it's the cover of the instructions that lands it a spot on today's list. To start, let's just take a quick look at the cover of the booklet. Okay, a few things to notice here. First of all, there's the police plaque front and center. Easy. Just behind that, there's a yellow rail element placed exactly 2 studs from the edge. And that's it. That's all that's supposed to be over here. Or is it? Once we open up the instructions and start building, things seem to get a little bit complicated. To start, the yellow rail that was specifically 2 studs from the edge has moved 1 stud over. A little odd, but hardly a game changer. But what about the police plaque? Well, it's moved to the opposite side of the building for some reason, but that's hardly the biggest change. A bit later on, you'll need to build an entire tree and place it out front. Of course, the cover of the booklet doesn't show this tree at all. Just compare it to the box art and to the official images, and you'll see just how much of a revision that this set seemed to go through during development. While these discrepancies can be a tad bit annoying, I always really enjoy seeing these little peeks into LEGO's design process. And if you also like learning about LEGO and its history, then be sure to subscribe to my channel. I put out a new video every Saturday, so click that notification bell so you don't miss it. Another set with multiple errors in the instructions was sent in by Drass, who spotted a handful of mistakes while building the Hogwarts Astronomy Tower. Some of these are easy to overlook, so let's go over them one at a time. The problems start before we even begin building. At the very beginning of the instructions, there's an overview of what each bag will contain. That's pretty normal, and there's nothing out of the ordinary at this stage. But take a look at bag 5. See that Draco Malfoy minifigure? Well, keep that in mind. Things progress pretty smoothly for the first 4 bags of steps until we get to page 92 and are told to reach for bag number 5. Remember how this was supposed to contain a Draco minifigure? Well, it looks like he must have gotten into the Polyjuice potion as he seemingly transformed into Luna Lovegood. Well, as we get to bag 6, we're still not done. This bag wasn't supposed to contain any minifigures, but we've finally found Mr. Malfoy hiding in the back of the class. But that's not all that's wrong here. If you check out the reference image for bag 6, you'll notice that the top is missing a spire. On their own, each of these is a pretty minor thing, but when they all pop up in a single set, they really start to add up and become noticeable. Moving on, a much smaller error was sent in by a fan named Josh, who found a funny little misprint while building 2024's Wreath set. And quick side note, if you ever find a LEGO set with a mistake, send me a quick description and a few images to videos@spitbrix.com for a chance to be featured in the next video. Alright, so the error that Josh sent in pertains to step 45, where you'll need to build 4 of these little sets of leaves and then attach them to the larger build. While this all goes off without a hitch, there's a very tiny mistake hidden in there. Just take a close look at this image and you'll notice that the leaves aren't actually connected to the ball joint. Obviously, this is just a rendering error as the pieces are very much supposed to click in, and I'll bet that 99% of people never notice this small mistake. But good eye, Josh. Another set with some vanishing parts was submitted by Hudson, who sent in a few images of the instructions from the Ski and Climbing Center. Overall, this is a really fun set with just over 1,000 pieces, and the mistake comes pretty late in the build. On step 346, you'll need to build this small subassembly and attach it to the larger climbing wall. There's nothing wrong here, but when you turn the page, you'll notice that the section you built has just disappeared. Don't worry though, it comes back right away, but it probably did shock a few builders. Next up, a mistake was brought to my attention by Destructor, who spotted something out of order in the instructions for their Shadow the Hedgehog bust set. On step 242, there's a small subassembly with 4 steps. Step 1 uses 2 parts, and step 2 adds 1 more, but steps 3 and 4 seem to be mixed up. Thankfully, this is a pretty easy to spot error, comes late in the build, and the page accurately shows all of the correct pieces. That last part might sound like a given, and all instructions should show the correct pieces, but I think you'd be surprised just how often LEGO instructions make a mistake when telling you which parts you'll need. Just take a look at the Construction Excavator set, which contains a mistake pointed out to me by Travis. In step 109, the instructions tell you to use 2 of these 1x4 plates with knobs. While these are used in this step, you'll notice that the instructions also show 2 1x1 round studs being added, but they're not listed in the required pieces at the top of the page. This is one of the more subtle mix-ups I've seen, and is exactly the kind of mistake that would probably catch a lot of builders off guard. A similar mistake was spotted by Grayson in the super fun Disney villain icon set. On step 337, you'll need to find a single inverted half bow and 1 hanging snot element. Well, a quick glance at the instructions makes it very clear that you'll actually need 2 of each of these. Luckily, they're all included in the bag. Next up, I've got a submission from longtime viewer Ashley, who found a simple mix-up in their copy of the Minions and Banana Car set. On step 22, the instructions call for a single 2x2 plate with axle and one of these large yellow cones. Once again though, you're going to need 2 of these to finish the set. But there are still a lot more LEGO sets that break the rules. Click on this video on screen right now to see them, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel SpitBrix for more LEGO videos.